Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a conversation today that's long overdue. Relationships are meant to lift us, support us, and help us grow. But what happens when the very thing that should bring joy becomes a source of pain, anxiety, or even fear? What happens when you find yourself caught in a toxic relationship? A toxic relationship doesn't always look obvious. It can creep in slowly disguised as love, loyalty, or obligation until one day you feel drained, disconnected from your authentic self, and trapped in a cycle that no longer serves you. Today, I invite you to take a deep breath, step back, and ask yourself, is this relationship feeding my soul or is it draining my spirit? Recognizing the signs of a toxic relationship is the crucial first step toward reclaiming your emotional well-being and personal power. Often, toxic dynamics are subtle at first, making them difficult to identify. They can masquerade as intense love, deep commitment, or passionate involvement, but over time, they drain your energy and compromise your sense of self. Understanding and acknowledging these signs requires honesty, reflection, and courage. One of the most telling signs of a toxic relationship is a persistent feeling of imbalance. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, and equality. Both individuals should feel valued, heard, and supported. In a toxic dynamic, however, this balance is skewed. You may find yourself constantly giving while receiving little in return. Perhaps you're always the one compromising, apologizing, or trying to fix things, while the other person remains indifferent or entitled. This one-sidedness erodes your confidence and leaves you questioning your worth. Another key indicator is how you feel in the presence of this person. Pay attention to your emotions during and after interactions. Do you feel uplifted, appreciated, and understood? Or do you often feel anxious, criticized, or dismissed? Toxic relationships thrive on negative emotional patterns such as manipulation, guilt tripping, or passive aggressiveness. These behaviors are designed to control you and keep you in a state of self-doubt. If you frequently feel like you're walking on eggshells trying to avoid conflict or judgment, it's a clear red flag that the relationship is not healthy. Communication in a toxic relationship often reveals its underlying problems. In healthy dynamics, communication is open, respectful, and solutions-oriented. But in toxic relationships, communication can be filled with criticism, sarcasm, or outright hostility. Arguments may escalate quickly, with little effort to resolve issues constructively. Alternatively, there may be a complete lack of communication, with one or both parties avoiding difficult conversations altogether. This avoidance breeds resentment and deepens the emotional chasm between you. Control is another hallmark of toxicity. This can manifest in overt ways, such as dictating your actions, isolating you from friends or family, or monitoring your behavior. It can also appear in more subtle forms, like emotional manipulation or constantly questioning your decisions. Over time, this control strips away your autonomy and leaves you feeling trapped. It's important to recognize that love does not equate to control. True love supports freedom and individuality. Lastly, a toxic relationship often leaves you questioning your reality. This is particularly true if gaslighting is present, where the other person denies your feelings, memories, or experiences to make you doubt yourself. This psychological manipulation can erode your self-trust, making it harder to recognize the toxicity. Understanding the energy exchange in a relationship is a transformative way to assess its impact on your emotional and mental well-being. Every relationship involves a dynamic flow of energy, an invisible give and take that can either uplift and inspire you or leave you feeling depleted and disconnected. Recognizing this energy flow is crucial in determining whether a relationship is nurturing or toxic. In a healthy relationship, the energy exchange feels balanced. Both people contribute to each other's lives in meaningful ways, offering support, love, and encouragement. When you're with this person, you feel seen, valued, and energized. Their presence adds to your joy, strengthens your confidence, and makes you feel safe. This type of energy exchange fosters growth and connection, allowing both individuals to thrive. Conversely, in a toxic relationship, the energy flow is often imbalanced and draining. You may feel like you're constantly giving your time, emotional resources, or efforts without receiving the same in return. This one-sided dynamic can manifest in various ways. Perhaps you're always the one initiating conversations, resolving conflicts, or accommodating the other person's needs. Over time, this pattern leaves you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, and even resentful. Energy drain in toxic relationships is often linked to emotional manipulation or control. For example, someone might use guilt, criticism, or passive-aggressive behavior to keep you engaged on their terms. These tactics not only take a toll on your energy, but also diminish your sense of self. You may start doubting your worth or feel overly responsible for their happiness, carrying a burden that isn't yours to bear. Another key aspect of energy exchange is how you feel emotionally and physically after spending time with someone. Do you leave interactions feeling uplifted and inspired, or do you feel drained, anxious, or unsettled? Toxic relationships often have a heavy emotional cost, leaving you with lingering stress or discomfort. You may notice that your mood changes for the worse when you're around this person, or that you carry tension long after the interaction has ended. Recognizing energy imbalance also means acknowledging patterns over time. Occasional challenges are normal in any relationship, but if you find yourself consistently feeling depleted or undervalued, it's a sign that the relationship may be toxic. Pay attention to recurring emotions such as frustration, sadness, or fear, as they often reveal the true nature of the dynamic. Understanding the energy exchange isn't about blaming the other person, it's about becoming aware of how the relationship impacts you. This awareness empowers you to take steps toward protecting your energy and prioritizing your well-being. Whether it means setting boundaries, having honest conversations, or in some cases, walking away, recognizing the energy flow is the first step toward creating relationships that align with your highest self. Your energy is precious. Surround yourself with people who nurture and respect it, and let go of dynamics that diminish your light. In doing so, you reclaim your power and create space for relationships that truly serve your growth and happiness. Breaking the cycle of dependence in a toxic relationship is one of the most liberating yet challenging steps toward reclaiming your life. Toxic relationships often create patterns of emotional, psychological, or even financial dependence that can feel impossible to escape. This dependence isn't accidental, it's a cycle designed to keep you tethered, often through fear, guilt, or a distorted sense of responsibility. Understanding and breaking free from this cycle requires courage, self-awareness, and intentional action. Dependence in toxic relationships can take many forms. Emotionally, you might feel that your happiness, self-worth, or even identity is tied to the other person. This happens when the relationship becomes the central focus of your life, overshadowing your own needs and desires. You may find yourself sacrificing your values or suppressing your feelings to maintain the connection, even when it's causing you harm. This dynamic often stems from a fear of being alone or a belief that you're not enough without the relationship. Psychological dependence is another common trap. Toxic partners often use manipulation, such as gaslighting or guilt tripping, to create a sense of obligation or doubt. Over time, this erodes your confidence and makes you question your ability to make decisions or survive without them. You might hear yourself thinking, maybe they're right, and I'm the problem, or I don't think I can do this on my own. This cycle keeps you stuck, reinforcing the illusion that leaving isn't an option. Breaking free begins with recognizing the ways you've become dependent and challenging the beliefs that keep you bound. Start by asking yourself hard questions. What am I afraid of if I leave this relationship? What needs am I trying to fulfill by staying? Often, dependence is rooted in unmet emotional needs like validation, security, or love. Identifying these needs allows you to address them in healthier, self-sustaining ways. Building self-reliance is key to breaking the cycle. This means reconnecting with your own strengths, values, and desires. Start small, take steps to rebuild your independence, whether it's pursuing a hobby, reconnecting with supportive friends, or setting personal goals. Each action you take to invest in yourself chips away at the false belief that you need someone else to complete you. It's also essential to rewrite the narrative of dependence. Remind yourself that you are already whole, capable, and deserving of love that doesn't come with strings attached. Practice affirmations like, I am enough, or I am worthy of relationships that uplift me. These shifts in mindset help you reclaim your power and reinforce your ability to stand on your own. Finally, seek support. Breaking free from dependence is a process, and it's okay to ask for help. Whether it's from trusted friends, a counselor, or a support group, surrounding yourself with people who affirm your worth can make all the difference. Remember, a relationship that thrives on dependence diminishes your light. Breaking the cycle isn't just about leaving, it's about rediscovering your strength, reclaiming your freedom, and creating a life that honors your authenticity and self-worth. Embracing the power of boundaries is essential for breaking free from toxic relationships and reclaiming your sense of self. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out. They are the lines that define how you deserve to be treated and what you will or won't tolerate in your life. They are acts of self-respect and self-preservation, ensuring that your energy, emotions, and values are honored. In toxic relationships, boundaries are often blurred, ignored, or outright violated. This could look like someone dismissing your feelings, overstepping your limits, or making demands on your time and energy without regard for your well-being. Without clear boundaries, it's easy to lose yourself in the other person's needs, constantly sacrificing your happiness to maintain the relationship. Establishing boundaries begins with self-awareness. Take time to reflect on your values, needs, and non-negotiables. What behaviors make you feel safe, respected, and supported? What actions or words cross the line into harm or discomfort? By identifying these, you can begin to set clear expectations for how you want to be treated. Communicating boundaries is the next crucial step. This requires clarity and confidence, as well as the understanding that not everyone will respond positively. For example, you might say, "I need to take time for myself when I feel overwhelmed," or "I won't tolerate being spoken to disrespectfully." These statements are not about controlling others, but about asserting your own needs and protecting your well-being. In a toxic relationship, boundary setting often triggers resistance. The other person may react with anger, guilt tripping, or attempts to dismiss your feelings. This is where the power of boundaries truly comes into play. Standing firm in your limits, even in the face of pushback, sends a strong message you value yourself enough to prioritize your emotional health. Reinforcing boundaries is equally important. Toxic dynamics often rely on repeated testing of limits, so it's vital to remain consistent. If someone violates your boundary, address it calmly but firmly, reinforcing the consequence if necessary. For instance, if someone continues to raise their voice despite your request not to, you might say, "I've asked you not to speak to me like this. If it continues, I'll need to step away from the conversation." While boundaries can be challenging to establish and maintain, they are transformative. They shift the dynamic from one of control or imbalance to one where your needs and values are respected. Over time, boundaries not only protect you from toxicity, but also create space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Embracing the power of boundaries is about reclaiming your right to be treated with dignity and kindness. It's about honoring your worth and ensuring that the connections in your life align with your highest self. Remember, boundaries are not selfish, they are the foundation of a life lived authentically and on your terms. One of the most common toxic narratives is the belief that "I don't deserve better." This story convinces you to settle for less than you deserve, accepting mistreatment or emotional neglect as normal. It may stem from a lack of self-worth or the fear of being alone. However, staying in a harmful relationship because of this belief only reinforces the cycle of self-doubt. Rewriting this narrative means recognizing your inherent value and understanding that you are worthy of love, respect, and kindness. Another disempowering story is the idea that "this is as good as it gets." This belief keeps you tethered to the familiar, even when it no longer serves you. It's fueled by fear of the unknown or the hope that the toxic person will eventually change. To rewrite this story, shift your focus from what you might lose to what you stand to gain. Visualize a life where you feel supported, respected, and genuinely happy. Believe that such a life is not only possible, but also within your reach. A particularly damaging narrative is, "It's my fault." Toxic relationships often involve manipulation that shifts blame onto you, making you feel responsible for the other person's behavior. This story can leave you stuck, constantly trying to fix things that aren't yours to fix. Rewriting this narrative involves recognizing that you are not accountable for someone else's actions. You are responsible for your reactions, your choices, and your healing, not for their shortcomings or mistreatment. Rewriting your story starts with awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts and beliefs you repeat to yourself. When you catch a negative or limiting story, challenge its validity. Ask yourself, "Is this true? Or is this a narrative I've been conditioned to believe?" Replace these old stories with affirmations that reflect your strength and worth, such as "I am deserving of love that nurtures me," or "I have the power to create a better future." Finally, remember that rewriting your story is an ongoing process. It's not about erasing the past, but about reframing it in a way that empowers you. Every challenge you faced has taught you something valuable, and every step you take toward healing is a testament to your resilience. By changing the story you tell yourself, you change the way you see yourself, and that shifts everything. You become the author of your own life, free to write a future filled with authenticity, self-respect, and joy. Visualizing and creating a healthier future is the final and most empowering step in breaking free from a toxic relationship. This key point shifts the focus from the pain of the past or present to the endless possibilities of the life you can build. By imagining a future filled with positive, nurturing relationships and personal growth, you activate the inner resources needed to manifest it into reality. Visualization is a powerful tool because it aligns your thoughts and emotions with your desired outcomes. When you close your eyes and vividly picture a life where you are happy, respected, and loved, you send a message to your subconscious mind: "This is what I deserve." Imagine waking up each day feeling at peace, surrounded by people who uplift you, and pursuing goals that reflect your passions and purpose. Visualize yourself as strong, confident, and free from the patterns that once held you back. This practice of visualization not only inspires hope, but also rewires your brain. Research shows that the brain doesn't differentiate much between real experiences and vividly imagined ones. By repeatedly visualizing a healthier future, you train your mind to believe it's achievable. This belief is critical because it influences your actions, helping you make choices that align with your vision. Creating this future requires intentionality. Start by identifying the changes you want to see in your life. Perhaps you want relationships that are based on mutual respect, personal boundaries, and emotional support. Or maybe you want to reconnect with your passions and rediscover the joy of living authentically. Whatever your vision, break it into actionable steps. These might include seeking therapy, joining supportive communities, or engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. As you take these steps, surround yourself with positive influences. Seek out people who inspire you and share your values. Let go of connections that drain you or reinforce old, toxic patterns. Remember, the energy you allow into your life shapes your reality. When you align yourself with uplifting relationships and experiences, you naturally attract more of the same. Healing and creating a healthier future also involves self-compassion. Acknowledge that growth takes time and that setbacks are part of the journey. Celebrate small victories and remind yourself that every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you envision. Trust in your ability to rebuild and give yourself grace as you learn and grow. Finally, stay connected to your vision. Write it down, create a vision board, or meditate on it daily. Let it serve as your guiding light, especially during challenging moments. When you align your actions with your vision, you shift your energy and begin to attract the life you desire. Your future is yours to create. By focusing on what you want and taking intentional steps to achieve it, you can break free from the shadows of toxicity and step into a life filled with authenticity, love, and joy.